Hi, welcome to America's Grow in the Farm to Fork Kitchen. I'm Shauna Alvarez, the executive chef here, and we're here with this month's commit kit recipe. This month's kit is a family favorite. It's lasagna, but it's a quick and simple weeknight version of it. So it's gonna be done entirely on the stovetop, which is a little bit different. And we're gonna use these no bake, no boil noodles, which means it's gonna happen really quickly. We're using jarred tomato sauce that we're going to spice up with our own spices. And we're gonna incorporate some veggies in the lasagna to bulk it up and to increase nutrition. A really important thing to do when you're getting ready to cook is to try to prep everything before you start cooking. It's gonna make the cooking process go a lot faster. And if you don't have an ingredient or you forget something from the recipe, you'll know before you start cooking. So to that end, I have already combined ricotta and mozzarella cheese in this bowl. This is gonna be one of the last steps of the lasagna. I measured out all my spices into this dish container. They can just all go together. And now I'm gonna prep our vegetables. So the first thing is we're going to shred this zucchini, or this is a yellow squash, but it's the same thing as the zucchini we grow in the summer. I like using the zucchini in recipes like this because they kind of just melt into the background. They release a lot of water, which this recipe really likes, and you can't really taste it. So it's really good for your cooking for the kids that are a little picky. And then I had a container of baby greens in the fridge, and this is baby kale and spinach and Swiss chard. You can use a combo, just spinach, just kale, and you can use the grown-up versions of those leaves if you want, but these cook quickly and sort of same thing, dissolve in. I'm gonna cut this up really finely, and we'll add this to the sauce. So now we're going to assemble the lasagna, and it's just like putting a lasagna together that you put in the oven. You're going to just layer it, and it doesn't have to be that precise in the pan, and then we're going to cover it with foil and let it simmer away on the stove. And the secret is these no-boil noodles, they only take about 15 minutes to soften. They just have to have enough liquid. So to provide enough liquid, we're going to have a jar of tomato sauce, and we're gonna rinse out the jar with some water so we don't lose any of the tomato sauce and we get a little bit more liquid. And then this is just a jar of regular sort of like tomato basil marinara sauce, and I am going to add some of my own spices to make it a little bit more flavorful. So you could start this by sauteing onions and garlic if you want, but today, because it's Tuesday and I'm just trying to get this dinner on the table, I'm using some onion powder, some garlic powder. I also have dried basil, dried thyme, and dried oregano. You could add red chili flakes as well if you want. And I'm gonna use about half of this in the sauce. And the other half of this spice mixture, I'm gonna put in the cheese that's gonna go in as well. So just making sure that everything tastes really flavorful. And then this is a no salt added tomato sauce, so I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to this as well. If you like it spicy, add some chili flakes, black pepper. I'm gonna mix this up so the spices are all in there. And then we're gonna start to build the dish. We're gonna start with some of the tomato mixture. And generally, you kind of want to put everything into thirds. So each layer is about a third of whatever product you've got. And do this, and then we're gonna put the noodles right on top of the sauce, because remember, they need that liquid to cook. Whoa. And then just break them up to fit. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna add some of the greens, some of the squash. It's also gonna release a lot of liquid. And then we're gonna dollop some of the cheese. And you're just gonna repeat this until you've used up everything. But you want the cheese to end up on the top. So that's the only rule is you want that melty, delicious cheese on the top of the lasagna. Right, so our lasagna is all done. It bubbled away on the stovetop for about half an hour. Depends how powerful your stove is. It might be a little shorter, a little longer. Just keep checking it. You'll know it's done when a knife goes into the center of the dish really easily. That's important because the noodles on the outside are gonna cook first, and then it's sort of like the heat makes its way in the middle, so test the center. It'll release a lot of liquid, and then that will cook off. And when it's finished and you take it off the stove, then you add a little bit of cheese, and you can add more herbs, some of the herbs we used before, or chili flakes, fresh basil if it's summer, to finish it. But then just let it sit in the pan for about 10 minutes so that it's easier to scoop and everything can kind of tighten up a little bit, because right now it's so hot that it'll just kind of like fall apart when it goes into a bowl. Anyways, I hope you really like this, and I would love to see how you customize this. Going forward, reach out to us on any of our social media channels, and I look forward to seeing you next time.